In this video, you'll learn how to customize links with CSS. Then, how to create this using what you've learned. Let's discuss how to style links. This part I like the most because we'll start writing interactive styles. First, we'll need some links. I'm gonna quickly add like 4 links and wrap them in paragraphs to place each link on a new line and have extra vertical space for decoration. And an H3 header, say web tech. Save the file, refresh the page. Now we have some links to style. Notice that the browser adds default styles to all links. They all have text decoration underline. Unvisited links are blue by default. And if I click the link, it becomes red for the time my mouse button is down. If I release the mouse button, the browser opens Wikipedia page about HTTP protocol. Let's return to our page and refresh it. This link is now purple because we visited that page, and visited links are purple by default. Let's now customize all these default styles with CSS. Let's change the color of all unvisited links to green. For that, I'm gonna add a CSS rule. We'll need a tag selector, so A to refer to all the links on our page. And to narrow it down to only unvisited links, I'll use a new type of selector called pseudoclass and write : link. This tells the browser to find all the links that haven't been opened yet. That is, the links that I haven't clicked yet. Pseudoclass selectors let you refer to certain states of your elements, like unvisited links or when you hover over a link. We want to make unvisited links green, so I'll write color green. Save the file, refresh the page. Good, unvisited links are green. Now let's make all the visited links a slightly different shade of green. For that, I'll add another CSS rule. The selector will be A:visited to change only visited links, and the color will be dark olive green. Save the file, refresh the page. Now this visited link has a slightly different shade of green. I'd like to make a decoration line appear above the link when we hover over it. We'll need another CSS rule. This time we want to change the hover state of our links. For that, we use the hover pseudoclass. And you already know what I'm gonna write next. It's gonna be text decoration over line. Save the file, refresh the page. Now, when I hover over a link, the line goes above. And when I move the cursor away, the line goes back to its original position. That's because we asked the browser to apply text decoration over line when the cursor is over the link. Now, let's make our links bolder and brighter when we click on them. I'll need another CSS rule. It's gonna be A:active to configure the active state of our links. The properties we want to change in this active state are font weight 600 for bold and color yellow-green. The browser sets these properties only in case when we click a link. Save the file, refresh the page. Now let me try to click on the link to check that. There you go, bold and brighter. Often you want your visited and unvisited links to look the same. For that, we could set the color to green here too, but it would make our CSS code more fragile and harder to maintain. Because in that case, if we wanted to change our links color, we need to remember to update both these rules for unvisited links and for visited links. A better way would be to combine them in a list like this with the help of list selector. And I'm going to remove this remainder of CSS rule. This selector list tells the browser to find all the unvisited links and all the visited links, and then change their text color to green. To check that, I'm gonna save the file, refresh the page. There you go. Now they all are green, and our CSS code is more efficient and robust. We can also use pseudoclasses with other HTML elements, not only with links. Let's say we want this header to become bigger when we hover over it. I'd like to use the ID selector to refer to this header. So I'm going to add the ID first. It's going to be tech header. Next, I'll add another CSS rule. I'll start with hash to select an element by its ID, then tech header, and then I'll write the hover pseudoclass to apply this rule only on hover. We're not limited to use pseudoclasses only with tag selectors. We can use pseudoclasses with other types of selectors too, like with ID selectors. When we hover over the header, I want to change its font size to 1.6 em. Em is another unit of measure. Em is relative to the font size of the element. So 1.6 em means that the final font size for this header on hover will be its original font size multiplied by 1.6. So em units work in a similar way as unitless values for the line height property you've seen in the text essentials video previously in this course. The em name is not an abbreviation. CSS developers took this name from printing and typography. Save the file, refresh the page. Great, now the header becomes bigger when I hover over it. Also notice when I hover over the header, the cursor changes to a different symbol. But what if we want the cursor to remain the same when I hover over this header? We can configure this with the cursor property. For the cursor to stay the same on hover, I'll use the default value. Save the file, refresh the page. Now the cursor stays the same. The list of all possible values for the cursor property is huge. I'm gonna put the link to this MDN page in the description. Go there, try different values, have fun, and don't be afraid to experiment and write some CSS code yourself. You will learn CSS much faster this way. Okay, now let's make the huge dots header on hover that I showed you in the intro. It's actually quite easy to do. For that, I'm going to add the text decoration property. Its value is going to be underline, overline, dotted. The color will be gold, and the line thickness will be 20 pixels. Next, I'll add the text transform property, and it's going to be uppercase. The font style property will be italic. If you're not familiar with these properties, watch the previous videos in this course on text. I'm going to add links to those videos in the description. Now I'll save the file, refresh the page, and when I hover over the link, boom, we have this crazy decoration and header styles. Most of the time, you don't want such styles to appear on real websites. But I found this helpful when I was learning CSS to try to set huge, bizarre values and have fun with CSS, even break things on purpose. This helped me to learn CSS much faster and better. So I encourage you to experiment with tiny, normal, and huge values for all the CSS properties that you're learning. This way, you'll learn the boundaries of what's possible for these properties, and also you'll have more fun during the process. Okay, so to style your links, use the link pseudoclass for unvisited links, the visited pseudoclass for visited links, the hover pseudoclass to style your links and other HTML elements when somebody hovers over them, and the active pseudoclass to apply your styles to the clicked links. If this video was helpful, subscribe to get more. Now check out this next video.